Hey, Internets. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We saw Antman and the Wasp over the weekend.
We did.
Boom. Sunday. I don't know, when did you say it, sir?
Friday.
Friday? Oh, you were right off the bat. Okay.
Well, not Thursday. That would have been right off the bat.
Okay, good point. You were horrible.
Yeah, I was.
Way too
I
long.
bunted.
And so we saw it, and we're going to talk about it right now.
Right now.
Spoilers
Don't go
ahead.
anywhere.
Ahoy. So, Paul, I enjoyed this movie.
Me too. I enjoyed it too.
There we go, and that's the review. Okay, no. Yes, it is enjoyable. It has a, it has a characteristic which makes it unique in some ways. I mean, certainly different than Infinity War.
Right. Well, I mean, very similar to the first Ant-Man movie.
Right. I'm saying, but the Ant-Man
It's
has
its own
a
world that was unique at the time and remains unique.
Agreed. It stays true to the character that they established in the first
tone,
Ant-Man,
yes.
in the tone. So it's kind of cool that the MCU has these kind of little different tonal places they go.
Yes.
It's not like a one-size-fits-all.
Yeah. Although, you could say it's not that different then. I mean, this is sort of criminal and funny. And then there's the space opera and funny. And then
well, it's funny, but it has a sense of the stakes are low. I can imagine somebody who's going in to see, like, I want to see, heroes saving the world from villains, and
really?
I want to see.
You can imagine those people?
I can imagine those people. No.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm just saying.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the commentary I want to make is that they can stop doing that.
They can stop doing what?
All the other movies that are like, oh, we have to save the world. It's better if you don't always have to save the world.
Agreed.
That's all I'm saying.
I got you.
That's all that I'm saying.
Got you. But this is not gritty realism. Is kind of my point. This is So there are moments that in another setting could be like, ooh, life or death, or like, for instance, there's the villain of the piece, Sonny Birch. He's got his henchmen.
Does have his henchmen.
And they decide to go and get information from the ex-cons.
Yes.
Luis and the rest of the gang.
Yes.
And so they break in, they got guns on them, they're like, we're going to use truth serum on you. There's a joke about whether it's truth serum or what would be truth serum. It sounds like truth serum, but is that truth serum? But anyway, it's played for laughs, and you never really feel like Luis and his friends are in danger.
No.
Like, they're like, oh, well, okay. And then, there's the joke where now that he's at the truth serum, Luis does that exposition thing that he did in the first movie. It's just fun, and I enjoy that.
Yes.
But the point being, in another movie, that would have been played as a very suspenseful thing. Oh my God, they're getting to Scott laying through his friends.
Right. Yep.
And, oh God, boy, it's got to it's a tough thing to be his friend, because you are now in line to be tortured for information.
But they are ex-cons, so.
Good, maybe used to it, you're saying.
Yeah.
Being tortured for information.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
That's just part of being in prison.
There's that scene. Another scene that I thought in another movie, this would be like practically a horror movie, is when Hank Pym keeps Lawrence Fishburne, Dr. Foster, away with his giant ants. And so he's got these giant ants with the pinchers going clackety clackety, and they're shepherding Foster into an elevator, and like his demeanor is like, all right, fine, got it. But like if that was literally happening to someone, where giant ants are threatening to kill them unless they move, like, I think you put some wow music under that, maybe a little uplighting, and that's a horror movie. Okay, anyway, but it's not.
Well, I would think you would have to play it out for a lot longer too.
Okay, fair enough.
But
it seems like, I guess it's not only are the stakes not that high, but the actors, or the characters, not the actors, the characters themselves realize they're not in that much danger.
Right. I mean, they're motivated by. It's so funny to me how small the whole criminal threat is, because it's like he's not the major. They
He
have
being-
3 different storylines that they're basically
Okay, what are the 3
involved in.
storylines?
So one is the one that we were just talking about with Tony Gaga or whatever his name is,
Sonny Birch.
Sonny Birch, where the villain he wants something, a piece of technology. He wants in on this advancements in quantum interdimensional whatever it is. He wants in on it, but Hope Van Dyne and Hank Pym don't want to let him in on it, and so he's trying to muscle his way in. So that's one of the things, and that's the minor one. The one with the shadow person, whatever her name is.
The Ghost.
The Ghost. With the Ghost, she is slowly dying because of past
Kind of radiation problems with the quantum realm.
right, that was involved with Hank Pym and her father. And so she's trying to use Janet Van Dyne to boost her own, life, and so she's but
Cure herself.
yeah, but it might kill Janet. But who cares?
That's plot 2.
Plot 2, and then the third one is the one that I'm forgetting. So there you go.
I would say the third one is
there's a third one.
Is Scott.
Oh, Scott.
Scott's in. He's got 3 days left
Yep.
on his sentence.
Right.
But if he's caught outside his house,
Right.
20 years in jail.
Yeah. So he's got to help his friends, but he's also got to stay, good and not let his family down. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yes, you have like the
So you have
it's a
the
ticking clock
FBI
thing
people
too,
that
right?
are after him, and of course some in the FBI are in cahoots with what is the evil guy.
The FBI is
Birch.
in cahoots with Sonny Birch.
Sonny Birch,
Oh, right.
yeah.
He has an inside man.
Yep.
But he's not the main. John Woo,
No.
as we discovered,
Yes.
is actually he's a comic book character that features. He is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
but not on the show in the comics. So that's a name they dropped. That's an actual comic.
Yeah, which great casting actually. I mean, I don't know if they needed to tell him, or well, who knows to the extent that we'll see him in the future. But no, he's one of the standout roles. I think.
And that's another bit that I'll just because I think it's important for this. The tone of this movie is very specific.
Randall Park.
Randall Park. So those scenes where Johnny Woo, he's directing a martial arts movie, and then it takes time.
No.
John Woo. All right, anyway. That's true. Well, John Woo does these movies. Come on, damn it. Oh, hard boiled. All right. Anyway,
That's true.
So those scenes where the FBI we got him this time,
Yep.
and they storm the house. That happens multiple times.
Yes.
Throughout the movie. You, again, never really feel... I mean, there's a little bit of like, I guess he could go to jail, but it's, again, played more for laughs.
Yes.
Like, it's not a... In another movie, you'd have like a... Dun, 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 dun,
Yes.
oh, it's you're here, drat. Instead, it's... there's a lot of goofy dialogue
Yep,
in there.
there is.
It's
Yep.
So
Yep.
it is... They're trying to say, look, we get it. You guys, we stressed you out with Infinity War. We're gonna
that's what they're
stress
saying.
you out later. In the middle, enjoy a little goofy superhero quality to this. So, yeah. Anyway, yes. So, yes, there are a lot of ticking clock things happening. And there's I can't leave the house, but I must leave the house.
I'll pull you out of the house. My hero.
My hero. So it did occur to me maybe if I should just put somebody outside his house. After all that, they're always like, "We're gonna go back to our office. We'll assume nothing's." Oh crap! Let's get back across town. Oh, and the time it took us to get here, you got back to your house. All right, we're gonna go back to the office now. Oh, haha. Silly. It's silly.
Yes.
Silly.
He's writing another movie.
If every, I think if every MCU movie was this silly, it would it would become too cartoony, and I think it would lose people. I think it's fine to have this movie like this, but even movies that were a little sillier, Guardians of the Galaxy, still have like moments of like, oh crap, I don't know, like Not.
Well, I mean, this Hope, not Hope, but Janet Van Dyne, didn't have to be saved, and that woman nearly died. The ghost nearly died.
Nearly died.
That's serious.
That's serious. Okay, let's talk about the ghost real fast.
Okay, let's talk about the ghost.
The ghost. You were setting her up to maybe be the villain, but she's not really the villain of this
she's
thing.
trying to save herself.
She's trying to save herself.
I mean, she's doing it in a kind of rash way, but she's desperate.
And by the end, there's a bit where, Janet has emerged from the quantum realm and has some powers she got from the quantum realm. We're not sure what those are.
Yeah,
but
she just has a quality that's the primary reason why she won. So she was right, basically.
She
just don't do it in a way that's taking it from her. Just let her touch you.
So she uses her powers to at least temporarily heal the ghost.
Yes.
They are we'll talk about the post-credit scenes, but in that scene, the purpose of at least the mid-credit scene is he's going to get more quantum realm healing particles.
Yep. Yeah, I would hope
ghost.
that it's like, we're just touching up here, and maybe it'll complete, as opposed to, time to get some more.
Right.
7 years later,
Yeah. So she turns out to be potentially, and we can talk about this too for theories for Infinity War Part 2, that she could even be on the side of the Avengers, perhaps, in future episodes, as opposed to she's not a villain per se. But
no.
She's angry at Hank.
She is.
I feel like she blames Hank.
Yes.
Okay. And here's where I'm a little
confused.
Yeah, so it's not very confused. I can understand why someone might feel this way, but let's put it in these terms. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Paul, you and I do the Dork Lord show.
We do.
Okay.
We do.
At some point, you, Paul,
yes,
decide, you know what?
Yes.
I don't trust you, Matt. I'm firing you.
Oh.
And you fire me
from your podcast.
From this incredibly lucrative YouTube channel.
From your channel.
Dork Lords. Yeah, you fire me from it. All right, so I'm now... Oh, yeah, I don't like that Paul guy. All right, so I go away. I have a kid. Years later, I decide, you know what? I'm gonna start up my own YouTube channel. It's been a while. I'm gonna do this myself. So I start up Dork Kings.
Okay.
Dork Kings. That's actually a good name. I actually patented. No, okay.
I don't know. How about Dark Lords?
Dark Lords. I start up Dark Lords. Perfect. All right. Oh, look, I got the Dark Lords channel. I don't know. I've got a boom mic for some reason. I've decided to invest in boom mics, and the boom mic falls, hits me in the head, kills me. My daughter holds me in her arms as I die or something.
Yes. And
now
I'd be like, Paul.
Right. So why? So you really didn't have anything to do with me starting another channel and dying as a result of that, and yet. She seems to be like, you fired my dad, then he went and he built his own tunnel, and then that tunnel went boom. Yeah. Screw you, Hank Pym.
No.
Even though most of the stuff that killed my dad was pretty much his own fault.
It's not.
No?
It's
okay.
Hank Pym's fault. Just like I had an evil plan to take over this podcast of...
I'm out, guys.
Of Matt's.
It just was like
he does all the work for.
It's not like a...
You're fired.
It's not an easy correlation to make. It's kind of there's a road that you have to travel to get to, and Hank Pym's to blame. Yeah? No? You don't get that?
I mean, no, I agree.
I mean, I could see how she might be angry, but it's the same thing as and there was that guy, Jeffrey Jedlicki, in kindergarten. He hit me with this giant Tinker toy. This actually happened, by the way. Don't like that guy. But that doesn't mean that years later when I'm making a tunnel to the quantum realm that you should blame Jeffrey Jedlicki for everything.
Right. Well, it's I guess. I mean, I don't know.
I guess her point maybe could be, he would have been using better stuff if he'd stayed with you.
Yep.
And he wouldn't have blown up.
There you go.
Okay.
I mean, yes. I mean, it's like poor girl is tortured. She can't think straight.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying it's true, but
No, it's not. It's not unbelievable.
No.
It's just like the correlation.
You'd love to be a defense, no.
Now, also apparently, I didn't know this. I can't take credit for this, but I saw someone pointed out that her dad actually is a villain in the comics named Egghead. And so Hank Pym probably had a reason to fire him. He says in the movie, yeah, well, actually, he was, I forgot what he says, but he was selling secrets or something like that. And so he had again, that wouldn't matter for her being mad at him.
No, it wouldn't.
But he could say, look, he was a bad guy and I fired him. Why are you mad?
Talk to his parents.
Yeah.
Who raised, a spy.
Jeffrey Jedlicki. Okay. No, but yeah, so she has it in for them. She steals the tech. She's working with Dr. Foster,
yes.
Lawrence Fishburne,
yes,
who does have kind of a reason, maybe a legit reason, a gripe. Seems like he got fired as well,
yes.
by Hank Pym,
yes.
and maybe not for a good cause, perhaps. I don't know.
Perhaps not.
They seem to have egos running into each other a
yes.
little bit.
Yes.
There. So,
yeah, I feel it's interesting the character they developed for Hank Pym. I was rewatching the first movie, and he's got this temper, which is not
right. He punches a guy in the face.
Yeah, punches a guy in the face. And when his daughter wanted to be the one to to infiltrate the company to get back the Antman technology, he was like, no, in the first movie. So it's interesting. I mean, because one of the interesting aspects to me of the in the comics is that Hank Pym has a history of abuse.
Yeah. He's not a altruistic, perfect.
He's not perfect.
He's not lawful good.
No, I mean, I think there's been some speculation that his brain's been affected by the
quantum realm,
the Hank Pym particle and all that.
The Pym particles.
Right. So that's why he's not doing it himself. He's having, what's his name, Scott Lang do it for him.
Again, in another movie, the guy who's off kilter with giant ants that do his bidding. Horror movie. Okay, yeah, they were even watching the horror movie version of I forgot what that show, but in their drive-in movie theater at the end.
Yes.
They're watching the ants.
Yeah,
forgot what
right.
the name of that movie is, but
yeah.
It's this movie done with a horror theme background.
Yes.
And slightly bigger ants. But yes, I agree that it's interesting to have him as a somewhat more complex character.
Yes.
That there is a reason that everybody keeps leaving him, or he's keeps being
driving
alone.
people off. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's kind of a jerk. So, and I also like the fact that they utilized Michael Douglas in that. I mean, like, they put him in a suit.
Yep.
And they put him into the quantum realm, and that was kind of neat.
Yeah, it was.
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
The quantum realm has there's a lot of ambiguity about it. Like, one of the things I assumed, and obviously I had no reason to assume this, I guess, but I had thought, when Scott went into the quantum realm originally back in the first season.
Yes.
First
movie. Yes.
They said something like time and space have no meaning or something like that.
Yes, they did say that.
So I kind of felt like you wouldn't age normally if Michelle Pfeiffer spends 30 years in the quantum realm. She kind of came out about the same age that she'd be.
Yeah.
Whereas I was almost thinking, like, well, what happens if she comes out and she's basically Hope's age?
Yeah.
And then she's like, hi, I'm your mom.
Right.
And you're like, oh, wait, this is creepy now.
And I'm Minnie Mouse.
And I'm Minnie Mouse. I talk like this. Hi, everybody. That's probably what happens with the quantum realm. It affects your vocal cords.
It does.
And then you have to talk like this.
Oh, we breathe.
Oh.
Hydrogen over here.
I'm going to get you, Thanos. But anyways, whatever. There's no reason to think, I guess, she wouldn't age normally, but I just thought, I assumed that
right.
That
would have been a very strange. They would have had to cast somebody other than Michelle Pfeiffer.
Right. And then there would have been this really awkward thing of like, oh, you got older and I didn't.
Now I'm looking that up. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Michelle Pfeiffer's now a part of the MCU, which is really cool. Something I did appreciate. This is a small point, but
yes.
I dwell in these small points. I'm a Morrissey fan, so they between the first movie when they did Cure music, And then in this movie, when they specialized in Morrissey, I'm like, this is my demographic.
Oh, wow.
I'm in it.
Wow.
Boom.
Wow.
So Luis's aunt has this jukebox that only has Morrissey songs in it. I don't know if you noticed, every track is a Morrissey track.
No, I did not notice that.
Okay. And specifically, the two songs I recognized,
Yes.
I think are both, if I overthink it, are both
don't do
relevant. So one of the tracks is First of the Gang to Die. And that's Morrissey talking about this guy, Hector. He was the first in the gang with a gun in his hand, the first to die. Anyway, so the idea is that there was a gang and they were kind of like, they were family.
Okay.
And so I feel like it's the gang of ex-cons in a way. Now, maybe it's foreshadowing somebody being the first to die, but probably not. But it's about, this gang and how they weren't perfect people, but they all were a family, basically.
Okay.
And so I feel like that plays into the ex-cons.
Okay.
The other track is Every Day is Like Sunday, which I think is appropriate in the context of Infinity War, because basically the song is saying, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can look at it, but it's equating the boredom of being in like a boring seaside town as being there after the bomb has gone off, and they're just waiting for the nuclear fallout to kill everybody in this town that's boring because nothing else exists. So the post-apocalyptic feel of that feels like Infinity War. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah. You could equate it to the events that happened.
I mean, I don't know. It seems contrary to the tone that they've created in Antman, but okay.
Good point. Well, that's why they throw it in as a pop song. You're like, hey. But maybe it's a little foreshadowing to Infinity War.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
The song they could have chosen, they didn't. Spring Heel Jim is a Morrissey song that is a reference to Spring Heel Jack. That was like kind of like the Victorian era had their version of Batman. He was a guy that we don't know who he was, but he wore like a cape and he could jump giant leaps. And at first he was like a villain, but then he turned into more of a hero character, and they wrote about him all the time. And this is kind of Batman running around Victorian England.
Wow.
But they didn't use that song, so sorry.
They didn't
do that one.
No.
All right, I just threw in some fanfic in there.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So we've got and so in the idea that there are the villains, the people you think might be villains aren't villains. Same thing with Lawrence Fishburne.
Sure.
He could have been a villain.
He could have been.
But there's that scene where Ghost is like, I'm gonna go get Scott Lang's kid.
Yep.
Because that's gonna make him do what we want.
Yep.
And Lawrence Fishburne's like, nope. You touch the kid, I'm out. I'm not gonna help you. And that stops, and she doesn't go get the kid.
No, she doesn't.
And so it's not like, all right, fine, I'll get the kid without you. They just like, no, you're right, that's too far.
Yep, nope. And thankfully, her other plan works just like, it works like a charm.
It works like a charm.
It's like, I'll go to his business. And there's the answer.
Bing. Yeah, I mean, in this one, the plan of saving Janet from the quantum realm is thwarted mainly because Scott needs to get this presentation so that the ex-cons can get their gig.
Yes.
I mean, that's how this plan is sorted. So it's that level of like wacky hijinks.
Yes.
What did we think? I mean, the performances I thought were very good.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I mean, this movie did not have the director leave in the middle of it. So I think it, I felt like the first movie might have been considerably different if they had originally had this director that they had, or if they let the director continue on. There was a lot of controversy about that, but I think it was Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in this one, though, no, they had the same one the whole way, and I think it benefited from that.
Action scenes were creative, were fun.
Yes.
Driving down San Francisco streets, matchbox cars, things, shrinking.
A number of people were saying, at least I heard at least a few people like, why weren't the Antman and the Wasp, they're fighting on the Thanos and the Infinity War. They're all out in Los Angeles.
Or San Francisco.
San Francisco.
They were on the wrong coast.
So, yeah, it's like, oh, hey, could you come out here to help us beat these large people?
They could have,
Antman and Wasp.
There's
probably could really use you. I mean, part of what was going on in the Infinity War is, hey, let's sneak over to War Machine because we're all supposed to be, fugitives from the law. And Ant-Man's not a fugitive from law. He's just confined to his place. And they didn't know how to find and Hank Pym and Hope, and honestly didn't have a reason to think about them at all because they've never met the Avengers. Only Ant-Man has met the Avengers.
I will say if I were to put one thing as far as the mid-credit scene, we'll talk about that since that's what most people are probably wondering about anyway.
They are wondering.
They're probably not wondering because you already saw it.
Right.
But
we'll spoil you if you're wondering.
Mid-credit scene involves Scott is in the quantum realm collecting the healing particles.
Yep.
I do this because it's a canister. This is what a canister is.
I thought you were collecting them.
I was just pulling them in my hands. And you've got Janet, Hope, and Hank are in the real world, hanging out on a rooftop or something.
Rooftop.
And they've got Luis's van.
Yep.
And they've hooked up a smaller quantum tunnel.
Yep.
And they're using it. Blah, blah, blah. And he's talking to him. Hey, everybody, I'm going in. Oh, I got the stuff. And then, all right, we're going to get you back in 3, 2, bump. And you just see the ash.
Yep, ash.
So that means Hope, Janet, and Hank gone.
Gone.
Stranding, for the moment, Scott in the quantum realm.
Yep.
Who also doesn't know why he's stranded.
Doesn't know
He'd
why.
Be like, what the hell, guys? He says it's a prank.
Yeah, what's going
on? So my only thought in terms of connecting it back to the events,
thought?
well, there's a few thoughts, but in terms of, to answer your question, because you were like, hey, people are like, why weren't they helping out?
Yeah, well, that's why.
There's a part of me that thinks this is happening, obviously, at the snap moment.
Sure, snap.
So pre-snap moment, Thanos invaded New York.
Yes.
Which is, again, it's on the other coast.
On the coast.
That would have been newsworthy. You would think Ant-Man and company might have offered their services, like, oh my God, horrible things are happening. You guys need some, I don't know. Instead of like, let's just keep doing our experiments to help the ghost. And we'll just keep doing, I mean, I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks maybe they should have done more instead of, we're focusing on this thing about the ghost, maybe like, oh my God, the world's being taken over, let's try to help out.
Right, yeah. It becomes a question of whether or not, one, what is the course of time on which that stuff has happened? So from the point that the ship first shows up and Spider-Man and Iron Man jump over there, right, and then they show up in Wakanda, what's the length of time? If it's just a couple of hours, maybe they got up early, didn't look at the news, went to the top of the roof. But how many do you think?
Well, I mean, they got Shuri, and they're giving her vision, and then she's like trying to work it out, and you get the idea that she's been spending time doing
4
that.
hours. But, that's what I'm saying.
All right, 4 hours.
4 or 5 hours.
Okay, got you. Yes, you're right. If it was a short period of time, then maybe no big deal.
Nope.
But that's my only.
We didn't watch the news.
My only contention on that.
There you go.
But basically, it's just pick your reason. The writers didn't want them to be involved, so they didn't have them involved.
One thing nobody complained about. Well, maybe they didn't need to complain about it. Yeah.
In terms of what?
I was going to say Nick Fury.
Yeah.
He seems to just, they're driving in a car.
Oh, in other words, like, why didn't he have an idea that, this might be coming since New York had already been hit?
Yep.
Okay, so he's trapped. Then the last credit scene is just more of a reference back to what we just saw, which is they come to Scott's house. Obviously, Scott's not there because he's in the quantum realm. His aunt that's standing in for him is still going through his day, so it's playing the drums.
Sure.
And there's a test pattern.
Wait.
The end credit scene, the second one.
Right. No, I'm just trying to figure out.
I think what this is happening after Scott got dinked in the quantum realm, because the test pattern's on the TV. There's a test pattern that says, like, this is an emergency.
Oh. Okay.
So in other words, after the snap, comes back to Scott's house, and they see, the ant's still going through his day.
Sure. Oh, okay.
But now there's only half the people in the world, and so you've got a leftover situation. So they're gonna. How do you?
All the dogs are gonna go crazy.
All the dogs will go crazy. How do you staff everything? How do you oh my God, we gotta.
Oh, that's right, because it's half as opposed to just a much smaller fraction.
It's like 2% or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like no 50%. Your grocery stores, your whatever. They're all going to be very difficult to function. So anyway, that test pattern, I think, is that indication. So it's actually kind of bleak, even though it's a silly little scene with the ant hitting the drums. The import behind it is, because Scott's gone and half of the world is gone.
Maybe that's what happens. A number of ants step up to take the places of the people who disappeared.
Ants take over.
Yeah.
All right. Invasion of the Ants. That's what that horror movie, when they were showing it in the little mini drive-in, was all about.
That was foretelling.
They also showed a scene from Animal House. That was interesting too. Like when they're watching TV, there's one point he's watching TV, and it's a scene where Donald Sutherland's character is like saying like, "Oh, what if basically entire worlds existed inside one atom?"
Oh,
but that's from Animal House. That was kind of interesting.
Was he in a classroom at that point?
I think so.
Because I know there was the scene that he's in the classroom, and there's a scene when he's walking around. After presumably having sex with, I forget, it was Karen Allen, I think it was, wasn't it? In that?
It's been a while. But anyway.
It was Karen Allen, I think.
So there's a reference to the idea of the quantum realm, basically. But they took it out of Animal House.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. So.
Karen Allen, woo! I'm not as old and forgetful as I thought.
Well done, sir. And Tom.
Sizemore?
No, the dude from Amadeus.
Oh, Tom Hulse.
There you go, that guy. That was his career. Yes. Animal House, Amadeus, nothing in between. Okay.
Peter Riegert.
So let's go ahead and talk about this, because this is probably people waited a half an hour just to, like, why aren't you guys talking about how this links to the next movie?
They've given up.
They gave up. They were like, we're out. Hey, these guys are breaking up. This is going to make the Dark Lords change.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'll check back in 15 years, 15, 20 years for their daughter.
How does this turn into, or how does Scott get out of the quantum realm, and does that? It does. How does that affect the events of Avengers 4?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So I know exactly. I've read it. I read the script. No. Okay. It says that there's too many gaps in this theory, unfortunately. But
there are gaps.
I'll lay out what I think is happening, and then you
thankfully, after you hear this theory, you can still see the movie. To see what the gaps are.
Right.
How they get filled in.
Just insert a Morrissey tune. Put "How Soon Is Now," and you're like, it works somehow. Okay. So. We know from some set photos that we are, at least it looks like the crew, Cap, Tony Stark, and Antman, interestingly, are back in the Battle of New York.
Right.
So back in the original Avengers movie.
Sure.
But there's some differences. One, they've all got this little watch thing strapped to their wrists.
Them do, yes.
And we were arguing about this, but
sure.
It looks like Tony Stark they've aged him up a bit. Now you feel like his hair isn't gray, that it's orange. I thought it looked gray.
Well, it looked gray, orange in the original thing, but now when I looked at it again, the more brown is but maybe it's gray.
Okay. Maybe. All right. You'll give me that maybe it's gray.
I will maybe.
Let's assume for the purposes of this that it's gray.
It does make more sense, I guess, that although that means time travel.
That does mean time travel, which I'm like, time travel is the death knell of so many shows. It's jumping the shark, but
he changed his hair. But no, maybe he's older.
Okay,
wiser.
So let's assume for a second then.
Just 1 second.
1 second in time that lasts forever. Avengers 4 does not perhaps pick up right where the Infinity War leaves off.
Sure.
let's say,
Let's just say
time passes.
it passes.
So basically,
He gets a hair like color wash to get his more brown.
Tony's hair gets grayer. Okay, so but things happen. So people mourn the loss. We probably see maybe a montage of like what happened in this interim. But let's say it goes out a few years, maybe as many as 10 years. But
Maybe
like,
they
time goes.
put pictures of everybody and says what happens, like an Animal House.
Like an Animal House. Right back. That's great. So yeah, people mourn the loss of these various heroes and their loved ones.
Yes.
Tony and Pepper have a kid, maybe, or blah, blah, blah. There's a little bit of that.
And he blames people that Tony Stark worked with for the terrible things that happened. That podcast that Tony Stark had.
Egghead comes back just long enough to blame Tony for something and die. Cassie, the daughter, I think is alive. I think she survives the snap. And there's a lot of hints in Ant-Man and the Wasp that she is intending. She wants to be a hero. She wants to be his partner.
That's true.
They have a bit where he's created an entire heist for her that they go through the boxes together. Avoid the lasers.
Yes,
yes. They get out and they get the thing and the prize. And so they're definitely pushing the narrative that eventually she's going to be maybe a hero. And she certainly is in the comics. Not to say that she'll be 25 years old and a hero at this point, but we could see the beginnings of maybe that she's trying to find a way to get to her dad. They probably, I would guess, they would know that there was an experiment happening at the time that the snap happened. You're going to see the van, and you're going to see, and maybe there's still the connection to the walkie, because he is talking to them. So maybe I don't know how the Ash thing works, but if you were wearing a headset when you turned to Ash, would the headset turn to? I don't know. Anyway, I'm just thinking maybe either Cassie or Luis or somebody could still talk to Scott, maybe. Maybe in that way, but they can't get to him? I don't know. Just saying. I'm thinking over time, maybe they get the services of Lawrence Fishburne, perhaps Ghost as well.
It takes them that long. Wow.
Maybe they bring Scott back real fast. I don't know. But just saying, the quantum realm is its own. And plus, they mentioned the time vortex.
They do mention
Very
that.
careful to mention that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get stuck in a time vortex.
They mention it twice at least.
Get stuck in a time vortex. Okay.
Right. That's why I was thinking that you would just go straight for the time vortex. It's
Okay.
like, if you're going to, what is the time vortex? Well, I guess what you would do, because that's the question, right? Initially, I was thinking the time vortex would take you back in time, but also out of the quantum realm. But no, if it just takes you further back in time in the quantum realm,
right.
what good is it?
What good is it?
It's like, I can go anywhere in the time.
Okay, well maybe
anywhere I want.
maybe a simpler version is he gets into a time vortex and it takes him, let's say, 10 years in the future, and he emerges.
Or in the past, where
world.
Hank Pym is doing experiments. Boom, boom, boom. He's alive in the past doing experiments. So there you go.
My only thought is, though, we need to have a way that Scott knows what's happening. If Scott just, let's say, as we know Scott right now, I'm trapped in the quantum realm. Here's the time vortex.
Right.
And he zips back in time.
Sure. Yeah.
He's not going to know anything to help save the day. I feel like he's going to help save the day.
Oh.
And if he just goes back in time without knowing, oh, by the way, there was a snap and half the people died, and it's because there's a gauntlet, and when there's gems in that gauntlet, and we need to do something with the gems.
Oh, so that's why you think he's talking to people.
I think he needs to be in the future first. And maybe he's like, look, I got here through a time vortex.
Oh, so he zips forward?
He zips forward. And so he's like, blah, 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 blah. There are these people that have given up on, Tony's given up maybe.
Sure.
Now he realizes he doesn't have to give up. Wait, we can do this. He gets with Shuri. The two of them are like, oh, we can. Then they bring in Quantum Realm guy, Dr. Foster. They're like, all right, we can do this. We're going back in time, and we're going to do something that will affect the course.
We need Fitbits.
Do they steal the gems before they can go to the? It seems like you'd have all kinds of effects from that, though.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah.
You seem like you want to try to do something that only affects Thanos and doesn't affect like tons of other ramifications.
Yeah.
But maybe that's part of it too. It's like, this future that I've got for myself, as imperfect as it is, I don't know. Maybe it's like, oh, if I take the time stone, my kid isn't born. Oh, hell with it, I'll do it anyway. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like maybe you have to make some sacrifice
who knows?
to the way things are, and I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know. I don't feel like I have enough information.
Yeah.
I don't have as much desire to you to plot it out.
I just feel like quantum realm, time vortex.
I feel if I go in there, sit down a year from now, and I'm like, okay, now we're gonna see all those things. We're gonna see future fat. Well, it didn't happen. This sucks.
I'm just saying, you got a time vortex, you got a quantum realm, you have an older looking Tony in the past.
Right.
Those things all suggest that this moment in time, this Scott Lang moment, is incredibly important for how the events of Avengers 4 unfolds.
Right, but sounds like you're talking about at least 10 years.
Yeah, I know.
So it's just gray. That's all. It's in 10 years. His hair gets brown.
Well, maybe he got
gray.
Maybe he got a little gray just from the events. Like, oh god, it's like seeing a ghost. So it's just a couple of days.
That's what I was thinking. Like, oh wow, I just saw Peter Parker die.
Nope, got some gray.
So I don't know.
Okay, or maybe he used product, but then when half the people died, they don't have the product anymore. So he just like, I can't. I just naturally gray now. I don't know. Anyway, if you've got theories, please spell them out.
They got to be better than that one.
Yeah,
the product.
Sadly, yes, they do have to be better than that. But yeah, an enjoyable film. Yeah, had a good pace to it.
Yeah.
Never felt flat. I did enjoy the moments too with Scott and his daughter. I thought those were well played out.
That was especially good because I like in the original movie they said that she has a weird sense of humor. So they get a doll that's like really twisted and everything, and she loves it. And in this one, she's like, "Oh no, I got you this trophy, the best grandma,
world's best grandma."
So she's like, "Oh yeah, no, you are the best grandma." She's like, "Yeah, okay." So she's already developing into a very interesting character. I think they cast well.
They also play the other side of the family. So Bobby Cannavale.
Yes.
From Mr. Robots.
Yes.
He's the stepdad, whatever. But that their relationship is pretty interesting. They don't do the standard. I don't like you because you're the stepman. Right. They started that.
Well, in the first movie they were like sort of resistant, but now they're very nice, which they need to make up for. Because that's what I was thinking. That first movie is like, wait a minute, you won't let him see his daughter unless he gets a job. He keeps losing jobs because he's a criminal. What's he supposed to do?
So that's a cool relationship. It's well played out, and as I say, I feel like they're heading on a trajectory of having her be some kind of a next generation.
Right.
In which case, if they do that, they got to go forward some years.
Yeah, well,
they can't have her just be a 9-year-old.
I guess, and then they can never use, the actress when she gets older to do that part.
True. Yeah.
Because she doesn't look like that. She looks like this other woman.
They'll use the age-up technology instead of the de-aging technology.
There you go.
But yeah, that's kind of one of my thoughts too, as to why maybe the next movie goes forward in time, because you would perhaps make her old enough to start becoming.
You'd have to recast.
But yeah, you're right. You have to recast. So yeah, a lot of good stuff. Well done, Antman and the Wasp. Good job. And is the next one up Avengers 4, or is there a movie in between? I think that's probably the next one. Oh, one last thing. Again, it's a small point, but conjecture time for Paul.
Okay.
I'm sure it's just for Paul.
I think the next one is maybe.
I think the next one is Avengers.
Certainly the last one this year, because we've had 3.
Right.
So there's supposed to be 3 next year.
Evil guy, Sonny.
Yes.
Sonny Birch.
Yes.
He is collecting stuff on behalf of this wealthy benefactor who doesn't take no for an answer.
Oh.
Who might that be? They don't address it in this
Dr.
movie.
Doom. No.
Could, yeah, if the deal comes through.
Yeah, the deal, yeah. No,
it could be Dr. Doom.
It won't.
Okay.
I don't know.
That would be
awesome.
awesome.
There are too many rich, evil people in the Marvel universe.
I
think it's fruitless. Fruitless to
the Kingpin, but I think somebody interested in
they're
tech.
not going to use anybody from the TV world.
I agree. Rich person interested in tech to me, you're not talking Lex Luthor because you're talking DC.
Yeah.
I think you're talking Norman Osborn.
Again.
I think you could throw it into the Spider-Man world. All right, I'm just saying. It could be.
I mean, there's, again, so many rich evil people.
There's rich evil people.
You know?
But yeah,
Too many to choose
they threw
from.
it out there as like there's a dude who's interested and he's kind of evil.
Yeah. They did
So
that.
there it is.
There it is.
It's actually Tony Stark. It's just Tony. It's
There
like,
you go.
he's
Oh,
trying
whoops.
I'm really interested in this quantum realm. Whatever it takes, Sonny Birch. No, anyway. So yeah, if you have
Well, his
thoughts on
father was interested in the first movie, so there you go.
that, boom. All right. Anyway, we'll wrap it up here. We're gonna be talking Luke Cage later in the week.
We will.
So look for that. And bye, everybody.